Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Alan Shearer hit out at stupid Alexander Isak and Trent Alexander-Arnold transfer theory. Newcastle United legend. Alan Shearer has hit out at comparisons between the situation with Alexander Isak and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool are showing a strong interest in Isak this summer, with the striker pushing for a move to Anfield. The Sweden international released a bombshell statement on Tuesday night when he mentioned broken promises. Newcastle responded with a statement of their own, reaffirming their strong stance on the situation. If the saga comes to a head, before the two teams meet in the Premier League on Monday night, 8 p.m. kickoff, is still to be seen. The saga around Isak comes just months after Liverpool fans showed their unhappiness with Alexander-Arnold as he was closing in on a transfer to Real Madrid. Shearer was among the pundits defending the full-back from the fan backlash. When asked on the Rest is Football podcast on comparisons in his reaction to the Trent Alexander-Arnold and Alexander Isak transfer sagas, Shearer gave a clear reaction. What? A stupid question, that is. You can't compare them at all, he said. Trent was a kid who was brought up Liverpool. He came to the end of his contract. He didn't refuse to play, he didn't refuse to train, and then was well within his rights to leave. Now, Isak's got 3 years left on his contract. It doesn't take a genius to work that out, does it? Come on. Gary Lineker responded with, I think Liverpool fans' problem is that he, Alexander-Arnold, is a Liverpool lad, and they feel like they didn't get a monster transfer fee for him. Obviously, they did get something in the end, 8-10 million, whatever. It was from Real Madrid because they wanted him to play in the Club World Cup. Shearer then added, I sat down with him, 5 or 6 months ago, Alex? I didn't see this in him, to be honest. I thought he was a manager's dream, to be honest. The way he spoke and the way he, was talking about himself and the club and his life and everything else. So obviously something has massively upset him, and we don't know that, but those two circumstances, Trent and Alexander Isak, are totally different. Isak has not been training with Newcastle's first team since he made it clear that he wasn't to leave for Liverpool. The striker was left out of the squad entirely for the season opener against Aston Villa last weekend. Arne responds to Alexander Isak question after Liverpool transfer twist. Arne has sidestepped a question over Liverpool's interest in Alexander Isak as the speculation continues over Newcastle United's one-away striker. But the Reds boss conceded he doesn't expect Isak to start for Eddie Howe's side at St. James's Park on Monday evening. Liverpool had a 110-meter bid rejected by the Magpies earlier this month and are understood to be ready to return to the table should they be given encouragement from the Northeast that a deal could be possible. It's been widely reported Newcastle are holding out for 150 millers, although their efforts to replace the Sweden star have so far proven fruitless. Having seen Liam Delap and João Pedro join Chelsea, Hugo Ekitike moved to Liverpool and Benjamin Sesko signed for Manchester United. On Tuesday night, moments after he was confirmed as being named in the PFA's Team of the Year for last season, Isak posted on his Instagram account that his Newcastle career was over, citing broken promises behind the scenes. That was followed by a Newcastle statement later that night, expressing their disappointment in their striker's actions and claiming he would now be likely to stay put at St. James's Park. Asked about the situation ahead of Monday's trip to Newcastle in his Thursday press conference, Slot said, What I can tell you is not a lot, and if someone else asks the question, it is going to be the same answer. I could even impact the game Friday with the players I had on the bench. Federico Chiesa came in and scored a goal, so it would be much nicer to talk about the players I have. Monday's game is nothing to do with anything that is in the media, but if you go to Newcastle, you know what to expect. We played them 3 times last season, and twice their intensity levels were above ours. In the League Cup final, they were more intense than us as well. I don't think they need anything to add to them being more intense. Apart from that, it is a very good team. They can make it a fight and have players that are so comfortable on the ball. one of the best teams in the league, and one of the most difficult away games you can have. I don't think it will be a busy end to the window, because that would mean I would be unhappy with the squad, and I am happy with the squad we are having. I say 2 players for each positions is ideal, but sometimes less is more so. You are not disappointing players. I am happy with the squad, but if we think there is a player who can really make us better, then this club has always shown they can bring them in. But it needs to be everything we want. Right transfer fee, right position, and the player wants to come to us. I don't think they are a club with troubles. They had a very good start against Villa, a good game for them, and they were able to get more than the 1 point they got. It is not only difficult, or it's mainly difficult because of the players they have there, not only because of the fans, although the atmosphere is great, like it is at Anfield, so we are used to a certain environment, but St. James's Park, if I just remember last season when it was an evening game, the atmosphere was amazing, and it will be the same. Why is the atmosphere amazing? Because the players can perform. The players can add to the atmosphere by being as intense as they were, bringing the quality they brought in that game. That is going to be the challenge. The challenge is also playing in a stadium where the fans are there for the home team. It always helps every home team. The last 15 to 20 minutes at Anfield, it wasn't a coincidence we scored twice because the fans helped us. But if you only have fans and you don't have the players, then you can forget it. The main thing we have to be ready for is their midfielders, their last line, their 3 forwards. Although I assume Isak is not playing, but they still Anthony Gordon as a 9. They have Elanga as a right winger and Barnes from the left. And Jacob Murphy is not even playing, who was very good against us twice last season. This is the Premier League. We all have a lot of options, and Newcastle have them as well. Speaking on his Instagram account on Tuesday evening, Isak wrote, "I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading." Newcastle's response read, "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself. LFC injury update, Jeremy Frimpong out, Connor Bradley back in training. Connor Bradley has returned to training, but Liverpool will be without Jeremy Frimpong until next month, Arne Slot confirmed today. Frimpong was withdrawn on the hour mark of the Reds' Premier League victory over AFC Bournemouth last Friday with a hamstring complaint, and the summer signing will be sidelined due to that issue for the upcoming matches against Newcastle United and Arsenal. Bradley, meanwhile, is back in sessions with the champions, having himself been ruled out of the FA Community Shield and clash with the Cherries. Connor trained for a few minutes with us today for the first time, head coach Slot reported when asked about squad fitness at his pre-Newcastle press conference. The medical team was completely right about Jeremy to tell me they had to take him off because he is out until the end of the international break, and that happened in the game. I already said immediately after the game that it had nothing to do with how he played, but we felt he had an issue with his hamstring, and with we, I don't mean me, but the medical staff, and they were completely right. So, a good call to take him off, otherwise he would have maybe been out for longer. And we expect to have him back after the international break. Elsewhere, Joe Gomez made his return to the pitch during the second half of the Premier League opener after departing the pre-season tour with a minor injury. Slot was asked if he has any concerns about the fitness of his options for right back. No, Jeremy has a very positive injury record. Connor has been out once or twice last season. These things happen in a season, the Dutchman replied. We only have at the moment 2 injuries. Unfortunately, it is 2 for the same position. But the good thing is some others can play in that position as well. Wata Endo played in that position for a few minutes. Dominik Szoboszlai already played in that position. So there are other options we can explore. Joe Gomez is definitely one of them, but for him to play already 20 minutes, that was already quite a lot. I wouldn't say he had a setback, but he wasn't able to train 3 days in a row completely with the team, which is completely normal if you're out for so long and all of a sudden the manager needs you for 20 minutes. But he is training with the team, so let's see where he is on Monday, if he can be involved in the team or if he can even start. But there are other options we have as well in this position. It's just you cannot prepare for 2 injuries in one position. It would be stupid for us to have 3 fullbacks or 5 left backs, although we have 3 left backs at the moment. So we're unlucky that the right fullbacks are injured. Arne Slot confirms Liverpool suffering from injury crisis ahead of Newcastle game. Liverpool manager Arne Slot has revealed his injury dilemma at right back heading into this weekend's Premier League clash with Newcastle, with an emotional Premier League opener against Bournemouth, Joe Gomez, and Connor Bradley all missing for the trip to St. James's Park. The Reds head into the fixture off the back of an emotional Premier League opener against Bournemouth. They defeated the Cherries 4-2, their first league game since Diogo Jota's tragic passing. Frimpong featured in the game, but was withdrawn before the hour mark and will miss Liverpool's trip to Newcastle. Jeremy has a very positive injury record. Connor has been out once or twice last season. Slot said, "These things happen. We only have 2 injuries at the same moment, but they are in the same position. Wata, Dominik Szoboszlai. Gomez has had his fair share of injury struggles since joining from Charlton in 2015. His latest setback came during pre-season, an Achilles issue, but he featured for the Reds against Bournemouth. However, Slot has confirmed that he couldn't train for 3 days and the player won't be rushed to start. Joe Gomez hasn't had a setback, but he wasn't able to train 3 days in a row," Slot said on Gomez. "We will see where he is on Monday and if he can start. You can't prepare for injuries in one position. You can't have 5 right backs, although we do have 3 left backs at the moment." And on Academy graduate Bradley, Slot confirmed, "Connor trained with us for a few minutes today for the first time. Medical team was completely right about Jeremy to take him off because he's out until the end of the international break. We felt Jeremy had an issue in his hamstring. The medical team did. They were right. A good call from them, as otherwise he could have been out for even longer." The trip to the Northeast comes after a drawn-out transfer saga involving Newcastle's superstar striker, Alexander Isak. Liverpool submitted a bid worth close to $140 million, but the bid was rejected despite the player signaling to the Magpies that he was ready for a new adventure. Liverpool has maintained their interest in Isak, despite splashing 106 matters on Hugo Ekitike, who got off to a scoring start against Bournemouth. Isak has gone as far as to release a statement on his social media to explain his intent to depart Newcastle. "I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken," Isak wrote on social media. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself. Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.